Good morning. Right now it is 9:11 on a Monday morning. We have about 10 seconds and we're going to actually go on the FM right now and get this going. So, hey, let us know. What do you have going on today? What kind of plans? What are you getting into?
At alcc.org.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It is Monday and it is Memorial Day. You know, we wanted to take some time and make sure that we acknowledge Memorial Day. And it is a day that we reflect, on all of the veterans who have given their life, on all the people who made that ultimate sacrifice. And, we just wanted to acknowledge that because we would not be here today without the price that was paid for our freedom.
One of the things that you mentioned to me, I think it was Friday, we were talking about our plans for the show, what we were going to be doing, how we were going to handle a show. Obviously, the church staff is not here today. The church offices are closed. We broadcast out of Abundant Life Christian Center. But KHEA Radio, we said, hey, we still want to do something, because it's an awesome opportunity to be able to have a radio station in the United States that continues to broadcast live. And you said, Curt, a lot of people take this time to go out and have fun, and it's a 3-day weekend, and it's, let's go to the beach, let's have, family time, and it's a fun excuse for that to take place. And you said, Curt, that's not the purpose of Memorial Day. Memorial Day is about remembering those who fought for our country. And, I knew that, but it was kind of in that moment when you said that, it took that all back. I'm like, yeah, because part of me did want to have a time away, a chance, an opportunity to be out with friends or family. And I had to take that switch back and be like, no, this is about the people who fought for our country that lost their lives.
And people still can do that, and not necessarily feel guilty about it. But yeah, spend time with your family, but also take that time to remember, loved ones. You probably have a loved one in your life that gave the ultimate sacrifice, serving for our country. And just remember, Pastor Hallam in church yesterday, we did a Memorial Day service, with some of the flag presentations and everything else. And he took, quite a bit of time of that service to reflect on, fallen soldiers. And those things are really, really powerful because it's easy for us to forget and get caught up in our everyday life. Mm-hmm. The drama that happens or the fun that happens. We're focused on our goals. We're focused on so many different things. And today you need to make sure you take some time and focus on, the freedom and why we have it.
The one thing that really stood out to me yesterday at the Abundant Life Christian Center service was when he had people who stand up who had served our country. And he said, go and shake their hand. One of the things that I like to do, and I've covered a lot. As a former news reporter, I would have to go to the airport and cover soldiers returning home. And it was one of those moments, you see those videos where the kids get really excited, and go run and chases. Those are things that I had to cover, because it was always a wonderful thing when people were returning home alive, and I've also done one where it wasn't, where it was the family was going out to meet the soldier. And it kind of takes you aback in those moments of, wow, these people sacrificed so much. Go and shake their hands today. I think that's what today is about. Today's not about headed down to Galveston to the beach. Today's about shaking somebody's hand and being a part of that.
Have you seen all the traffic? I've just seen posts, and I don't really take I-45 much anymore, at least getting to KHEA due to all the construction. I have to take Highway 3, and then I kind of sneak around Mall of the Mainland and shoot over. Yeah. And it's a pretty quick trip. But I saw posts on social media saying, hey, Galveston is packed, from Seawall all the way to the Causeway, last night, and then I'm sure today. So if you're out on the road, make sure that you're being careful. I would recommend leaving early and just taking that extra time to make sure that you can get somewhere safely. Because a lot of people are going to be out. A lot of people are going to be, probably having a good time, spending time with family. And it's always better just to be precautious.
I was pulling out onto the feeder road today, and I saw on the way into Galveston there's a bunch of cars backed up, and I was like, oh, no way that it's backed up to exit 13 trying to get into Galveston. But I was wrong. There was an accident. Okay. So all the cars were backed up right there. But that was my initial reaction. I was like, oh my gosh, what time is it? It's backed up to exit 13.
Yeah.
What? Like trying to get into Galveston? But it was because there was an accident instead.
Hey, here's a couple comments from Robin from Axemasters. Shout out to Axemasters, some of our good friends and partners here at KHEA. She said, "Morning, guys. I didn't realize you were on. Today is about our military that have fought and never come home, made the ultimate sacrifice." That's what today is about. It's Memorial Day, and I think that's very important just to kind of remember. Because, again, I just wanted to say it one more time. It's so easy to get caught up in everything that we have going on. School, graduations just happened. We have all of our hopes and dreams and businesses and everything else. But we wouldn't be able to do any of that if it wasn't for people who made that sacrifice, so that way we can come in today and we can have a radio station and be able to talk on social media.
For my grandpa is actually a Korean War vet, and he talks about his time in Korea all the time. And to me, it's really kind of cool. He has his uniform still, and as a kid, I would go and put it on and try it as a young person. Obviously, I never fit in it, being young, but it was one of those cool moments as a kid that, oh my gosh, my grandpa fought for this country, and it was really kind of honoring. I just remember that growing up being like, this is really, really kind of cool.
It's like a real life superhero type thing.
Yeah, he is. And he's 80 something. Man, I need to brush that up, but he's 80 something years old, still kicking and still alive and loving life. And I love sitting down and talking to him about his time growing up. Even he worked at the railroad, and fought for our country. And I think that was really kind of powerful and cool to hear stories about everything that took place.
We're going to talk about everything that we got into this past weekend. We went out to Texas Striking Academy over here in Lamarck, and we were able to witness some sparring and support some local fighters doing some big things. We were also able to go to Bay Area Raceway, where they were celebrating 25 years. We have a lot of stuff coming up this week, including our cruise giveaway. We have a stack show. Tomorrow's going to be awesome. But before we do that, can we play? We're going to play some video, and we're also going to take a listen to some audio. It's a speech by Ronald Reagan, and I think it really is powerful, and it kind of gives a good idea about what today is about. So we're going to take a look at that before we get into everything else with the show today.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully, and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.
Right now it's 9:22. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. That was President Ronald Reagan, a speech, and it was really powerful. You know, I was seeing quotes from that this past weekend, and I went and pulled up the entire speech. I just wanted to hear it, and I think that embodies what today is about and what every day should be about here in America.
You know, I think for me, today is fantastic because I've always thought, you know, it's a blessing to grow up in the United States. You know, there's countries all over this world.
Could have been born anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm so proud of what we are. You know, Pastor Hallam said this last night, and I think it was perfect. He said, we're not a perfect nation. You know, we're far from a perfect nation. But what we are men and women who fight and work hard every single day. And I think that really, truly embodies what America is.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's 9:23. This is KHEARadio.com. It is Memorial Day. Make sure you take some time to reflect and just remember, you know, how did we get here? It's because somebody made the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, gave their life so that way we can be on the radio today, so that way you can, you know, drive to work today or go to school and just take care of everyday things with your family. But this is 99.5 FM, KHEARadio.com's Kickstart. We're going to be on till probably about 10 o'clock, maybe 11. Kurt's face.
You told me 10 o'clock.
I know.
I planned for.
I'm just kidding. Hey, this past weekend we did something cool out in Lamarck.
Yes.
Texas Striking Academy.
Texas Striking Academy. We were there. They're having a big event that they're having a guy who's going out into a fight in New Mexico.
Yeah, Josh.
You know, Memorial Day weekend, speaking of going to Texas Striking Academy, I saw a post on Twitter the other day. It was also the Indy 500 is always on Memorial Day weekend. There's a bunch of racing events.
I had no clue.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. And the Twitter or the poll question was, what's been the most like declining sport that at one day in their heyday? So heavyweight boxing was one of the choices as well, because back in the day, you know, when you had Muhammad Ali, you know, and you had Mike Tyson and all those other great guys, boxing was huge. The Indy 500 used to be like you sat around the couch and watched the Indy 500 like most of America did. So it was kind of interesting to see that boxing was in there, because I think MMA fighting,
it led to the decline of boxing, but what led to the decline of race car driving?
I think just because it's a long sport, you know, like the Indy 500 is what, 3 hours long or something like that, and you know, some of it can be boring, you know, when you're watching
cars go in circles,
cars going in circles. But
watch me turn.
The
horse racing.
I also think, you know, the other piece was, you know, TV kind of ruined it, you know, because at least for the fan perspective of being at the race, it was kind of a big deal, right? Like people would go to it. But TV, you don't have to go. You don't have to pay the money to go. And so I think the decline in revenue of that really kind of hurt.
Well, those TV deals, there's revenue coming in. I think it's boring. I never got into race car driving. And there are people in our community. I have a friend, you know, I literally can think of one friend, literally only one friend that I've ever met in my entire life who's into race car driving. And it's not you.
Oh.
But then I met you. So I guess there's two now, but you're not from here. Like one friend from here. So I think it depends on where you're from, because like if they have a race car match or whatever in the world they call it, you can go watch and you can grow up watching. Then you're probably
Did you
into
call
it.
it a race car match?
I didn't know. I didn't want to call it a race car race.
It is a race car race.
It just sounds funny.
It's called The Race. No, I grew up on it, but I don't watch it like I used to. I think a lot of things happened and changed. I used to watch in the heyday. I used to watch NASCAR when like Dale Earnhardt was racing, and then Dale Earnhardt passed away while racing, and it just changes a lot.
I think Talladega Nights came out and showed the truth, like the ugly side, the real documentary style stuff of what goes on. Everybody was like, we can't watch this anymore. Talladega Nights,
Right.
You ain't first or last. You learn a
Days
lot.
of Thunder, though, was the first one.
See, nobody watched
Tom Cruise?
that. I didn't watch that.
See, Ethan's nodding his head over here. He
Ethan's
knows.
where are you from? Indiana, right?
He's from Kentucky.
Same thing. Kentucky, Indiana, like
It really is the same thing.
Nashville. They are kind of the same, right? There's like a little triangle.
They all like blend together. So I mean,
But racing in Kentucky is pretty big.
Is it?
horse racing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same thing, but at least it's quicker. The horse gets there and like the race is over. But like the race car, you said 3 hours of meow, meow.
See, those are the things that, for me, going back to our time at Texas Striking Academy, I think those are it's in those same categories. I think the other like American pastime, baseball.
Baseball takes a long time too, and if you can watch it from the comfort of your own home, and it is cheaper as a consumer, it's something you either already pay for through cable or they're showing it on national television. Sometimes you can get a better seat watching from your 40-inch TV and in your bedroom or in the living room, right? It's HD, and it's you don't have to spend the money. So I see what you're saying about the NASCAR comparisons, and sometimes baseball can get long. It is fun to go to the games. It's an experience that you can't get anywhere else.
Exactly. Going to the game is fun. The one thing for me that really is hard to follow baseball is we're in, May?
Yeah.
Baseball really doesn't matter until August.
Right.
And so it's like,
The crunch.
And there are people who argue like, oh, well, every game's important because blah, blah, blah. But for me, I'm like, okay, I don't even remember the last time the Astros played. It's like, what was the score? They beat the Red Sox, I know, this weekend.
Yeah,
but
they rattled off like 10 in a row, and then I know they had lost a couple, but in their last 10, I think they were 7-3 or so. But they've been putting together some really good games, and that's a good stretch. But they were number one, in the American League. I think right now they're number one in their division.
Correct.
The whole
Central.
league, they're number 3, so they're in the thick of it. But they're like a game within being the first place or whatever. So man, it's cool. Shout out to them. But it is a long season.
Long season, long games, and I don't know. I missed the time. Do you remember? Okay, and so Ethan's probably not going to remember this because he wasn't around for this. But Barry Bonds, the Barry Bonds area, where you had Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, and they were rattling off like home runs. Like you could tune in and watch them hit like 3 home runs in a night.
Do you remember that? I mean,
Yes.
it was like 1996 because
Yes.
Barry Bonds, his heyday came
2001.
a little bit
2002.
later whenever he started breaking those records too and just really blew up.
Yeah.
But I remember collecting newspapers. I still probably have them. I remember I was like, man, this is so cool. But like the newspaper came out because it was the race. Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, who's going to win the home run race? Nobody's been hitting home runs like this, like ever. And I remember collecting the newspapers like in 1996 or whenever it was and saving them because I was like, oh, this is neat. But it's just funny how times change, I guess, because like newspaper, like there are people that still read the newspaper, and we love, our local newspaper especially. But I'm not doing that anymore. I can never see my son. My son's probably never picked up a newspaper in his life, but me as a little kid, I was like collecting them.
See, I don't know if it's because I've become an adult, but I felt like sports was so like intriguing to me as a little kid because you had Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. I watched all the time on WGN. And then you had Chicago Cubs, and I loved seeing Wrigley Field on WGN. And maybe it was just because I was watching WGN all the time, but that's what it was, like you got the Bulls, you had the Cubs, you had Sammy Sosa, you had Mark McGwire.
Well, kids now, they're into Steph Curry and the Warriors. No joke. You'll see little kids just if you go to the grocery store and you'll see all these little kids in the Steph Curry, shirts because they're our era's Chicago Bulls, which is it's kind of it sucks for me to think because I'm like I don't like the Warriors, like the Rockets. But
I don't see. That's the other thing with today. Like they're doing what the Chicago Bulls did.
Right, they are.
But I don't feel that way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I don't feel it the same way that I felt it with
the kids. The kids do though.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So right now it's 9:31. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. We're going to be on until about 10 o'clock. We're talking for a little bit about Texas Striking Academy. So we went out there. It was a good time. I bought a shirt in support of Jose Solis. I got that green T-shirt, which I really like. So shout out to Jose. I saw he was hanging out earlier with us. And then Josh Altoon, we had an opportunity to talk to him. And I believe that event was in part to raise funds to help them get to New Mexico, because he's going to go out there and fight the #1 guy in New Mexico right here from Texas City. He's going to go out there and represent Galveston County in New Mexico on their turf and come back with the victory. So shout out to him. Shout out to Jose. Shout out to Texas Striking Academy. Another shout out I want to give. I watched Fury fighting at Humble on a social media stream. The same gentleman that is from Texas City, a police officer, he was out there streaming it again. I believe his name is Diego. And there's a guy who is a police officer over here at the Texas City College of the Mainland. He's a trainer. So if you're trying to be a police officer, he's the one who's going to be training you. He went out there in the heavyweight division as an amateur, training out of Premier Martial Arts with Al Garza, and he went and knocked this dude out in 39 seconds. It was a really cool fight. So I watched that. But I would like to get him in to talk about training, the future of our police here in the area out of College of the Mainland, and then also about some MMA. I think that'd be a good fun time.
He trained with Al Garza.
Premier Martial Arts. He
and knocked the guy out in 39 seconds.
Yes.
Dear, what is Callan going to be doing?
Are you? My son trains at Premier Martial Arts. Yes. But Curt, would you face him? I mean, he's a police officer, trains the future of our police force here in the area, and also trains with Al Garza, Premier Martial Arts. Grandmaster Al Garza. Would you face him? He's 6'4". I'm
scared to even get out of bed in the morning, let alone fight a guy like that.
Yeah.
We were talking yesterday. There's a wrestling match taking place. The UPW, is that correct?
Yeah, it's going to be coming back to Santa Fe. I believe it's July the 12th, I think.
I think that sounds right. But the champion,
Nate,
he was like in my DMs last night, like blowing me up.
Was he really?
Not in my DMs, but he was on that post.
Notifications,
yeah. Like blowing me up. Like, hey,
sign
put your money where your mouth is, because I was talking some mess about how I'm the true champion, of all UPW. And
are you kind of concerned now? Because he was calling you out hard.
He went. I didn't even know where he came out of left field and was like sucker punched me with those comments.
Yeah, here's the only thing. So JT Royce,
yes,
is he's facing in what's his name? Estrella Galactica, right? And I was just saying like, hey, JT Royce is gonna win, and if he doesn't, I may have to interfere. Then all of a sudden, another gentleman was on there being like, no, Estrella Galactica is gonna win. And then all of the champ came out of nowhere and was like, no, nobody's doing anything. I'm the champ. And it's like, dude.
Chill.
All right, you're the champ. You can still be the champ. We're still talking about, JT Royce is going to come out victorious. And I'm about to guarantee it, so I'm about to sign a check myself. So we'll see. But yeah, he just kind of came out of left field. But I guess as the champ, he has to protect the integrity of everything. Yeah. So, hey, what's up, Russ? Good morning. Russ said there's no sound. Is there sound? There is sound. Okay, so that is good. Had me sweating bullets there for a bit, but it's 9:35. This is KHEA. I'm sure that's just a social media glitch here, but we're streaming live on 99.5 FM, and we're excited to be here in Lamarck, broadcasting out of 601 Delaney Road.
Yeah, and it's Memorial Day. We want to take a second here again to remind people that we want to honor the people who fought for our country and lost their lives today. I think that's the biggest importance of today. I know a lot of you are probably firing up the grill, going to go spend time by the pool down here in Texas.
Or maybe working. Some people are working.
Or working like we are. And we just want to remind people like, hey, today is about those people. And if you have an opportunity, if you see somebody in a uniform, go and shake their hand. Go in and give them, give them some love, because they deserve it. They're out there. Some people, like I know Angie Butler's son is, still at training camp. Isn't able to be home today, so just appreciate what they're doing for our country. And, one of the things that I really like when it comes to Memorial Day is when they have those videos of the kids like running up, those special surprises. So maybe go watch one of those videos and just remember, like, this is the sacrifice. They're spending time away from their family and their friends.
Yeah, as well as thanking, veterans and people who have served in your family. Also remembering the people who paid the ultimate sacrifice and gave their life so that way we can be here today. I believe it was Joe Perez had posted a quote with Texas Chronicles, History, Mystery, and Adventure, and it says, hey, we're just, one act away from potentially losing our freedom, losing everything. And we've had people who sacrificed and people who continue to sacrifice and serve today. There's people that are going to lose their lives this year, which is, but, just remembering what it's all about and just being thankful for everybody who has served, everybody who's paid that sacrifice, and their families as well for, just supporting them. And it's just it's a big day. It's Memorial Day, and so we do want to acknowledge that.
Yes. One of the things that I want to remind people about as they're just tuning in, we're going to be broadcasting live until 10 o'clock, but this Friday night, we are having a big special announcement at 7 o'clock at Bayshore Grill. We're going to be broadcasting live on Facebook. We're going to be broadcasting live on 99.5 FM here in Lamarck, Texas. We're going to be announcing the winner of our cruise giveaway. So that is our featured video on our page. We dropped the video in April, and I'm really super excited. There are tons and tons of people who are excited about this opportunity to go on a cruise. So we're going to be making that announcement live on our Facebook page, 7 o'clock. Tune in. If you haven't entered to win that cruise, go check it out.
Ethan, are you going to be there?
I'd like to.
I'd like to.
You guys haven't invited me yet.
Ethan,
so.
you are that was just an invitation, if not anything.
Ethan,
right.
We shouldn't have to invite our intern to anything. You should just assume that everything that we're doing, you're a part of.
Then I guess I'm going.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's Bayshore Grill this Friday. If you've never been to Bayshore Grill, then it's a great opportunity to come hang out this Friday. If it's your first time, there's a bunch of awesome stuff on the menu, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm very excited. I haven't been to Bayshore Grill in like a week, so I need to get back over there.
It's going to be a great time. Cruise giveaway. Thank you to Karen and the team from Your Vacation Edge for giving us that cruise, and we'll work on the next big giveaway after that.
What could the next big giveaway be?
I'm thinking car. I think we have to give away a car next.
Why?
Because that's the next big thing.
No, it's not. It
What
could be anything.
Okay, house,
It can
jet
be.
ski.
Another cruise. I mean, we could give away a boat. I don't know. There's a lot of
Give
stuff.
away a
You're just
boat.
like, it has to be a car. No, it doesn't. Curt, don't be so close-minded, man. Don't be
Open-minded.
so. I mean, we're laser focused, but on everything, but also
see-
keeping an open mind.
Open-minded, but we got to go after it because we went after the cruise for like 6 months, and it finally gave us the cruise to give away.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are excited about it. I see Susan said, I can't wait to take my cruise. We are also getting messages. People are saying, like, man, I'm so excited to hear my name. It could be your name. And that's going to be announced this Friday at Bayshore Grill. So if you want to come out, you can. How cool would it be if we're announcing the cruise and the person is there? And we're just like, hey, the winner is, hey, actually, you're the winner. Susan, you could be you.
There's tons of space at Bayshore Grill, and there's probably, over maybe 1,000 people who have entered to win this cruise. Plus, I feel like all 1,000 people can fit inside a Bayshore Grill and be there when we make the announcement.
That's false. We'd have to, there's a limit. Probably like 300 or something. We'd be like, okay, you're cut off. You know what? Everybody else, there's room outside. It's really nice out there, so we can line up everybody right there against the water. Maybe we have to set up a stage. I don't know.
The best part about the cruise giveaway, and I don't know if we've stressed this enough, but this is completely free. You're obviously going to have to pay for things when you get on the cruise, so that might be...
But you don't have to.
Internet. Yeah, so you can actually go on this entire cruise and not spend $1, which is awesome. And you don't have to worry about transportation because the van TX is going to pick you up, drop you off, and then pick you up when the cruise gets back. So you don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about transportation. It's going to be fantastic for somebody.
That's what I would do. If I was the person who won the cruise, which I'm not eligible to win, so that's not going to happen. But if I did win, I would be the person who doesn't spend another $1. I'm like, okay, I got my bags. The Van TX picks me up, drops me off. I'm on the boat. All the food is paid for. I can get my drinks, my sodas, everything else. And then I'm there, and I get off the boat, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Free.
And it's an opportunity. You got the free buffet. You literally don't have to pay for anything.
Mm-hmm. And the dinner. They have dinner too. You know, you can get your tickets and they assign you times and everything. We've never been on a cruise, but we did learn how it works whenever we went and filmed on the boat. So it's awesome. It works out really, really well. You know, what's funny?
I was thinking of a post that happened on one of the cruise groups that I'm in, and somebody said, "What's the youngest that you could take a baby on a cruise?" Like people were like dropping comments. I said, "Does a food baby count?" Because I was like just thinking of that buffet. I'm like, I'm walking around with my 9-month-old food baby. Everyone was laughing.
What am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with that?
Oh.
Hey, Russ said, "Gardy, if I win, I'll give you and Jennifer the cruise." That's really nice. That is nice, Russ. You're awesome. I love Russ.
How bad would that be though if we gave it to her? Like
Russ wins and he's like, "Gardy, you get the cruise." I'll be like, "Am I allowed to take this? Will there be a riot? What's going on?"
The other thing that's also really concerning, and this is a little bit off topic in a way, but on Facebook, I'm just thinking of that comment that I dropped.
Your food baby comment
My food
still?
baby comment. But I've been like in the groups when people ask for services or like, hey, can anybody help with this? I've been dropping like, oh, KHEA can do that. One of them was like spending like 2 hours cleaning up
The ditch?
this ditch, and they were going to spend.
This was the best one. It wasn't even cleaning the ditch. It was like digging a new ditch. They wanted a 1.5, like 2 foot wide ditch by like 100 feet, dug by hand.
Right. And I said, we have an intern that can help with that. It was going to be for like $200.
No,
But
it wasn't.
we would
it said $50.
Oh.
They need 2 people, 50 and 50. So it was like $100, and they wanted a giant ditch dug.
And I was like, we got Ethan and Jennifer, and then we get $100 for the radio station.
So they do the work.
We get
$100 to the station.
I love it.
Man, that's hard work. Digging. Have you ever dug like ditches like that?
For
Sharpshooter-
$50? Yeah.
Well, no, for anything. Have you ever done like any
No.
digging like that? Dude, digging is hard work, man.
You almost need like a machine to do it for you.
Yeah, if you want to do it easy. It depends on how much it is, but like a ditch like that, woo.
We don't need to think about it when we got Ethan over here.
Ethan is a hard worker, but I feel like he would draw the line. He would be like, "I'm not doing that."
You know, the best part is now every time I open Facebook, there's one of those like questions that shows up. Like Facebook's like, "Oh, you want to see more of
KHEA
these
Radio
things?"
can do this. Yeah.
And so it's literally every time I open Facebook now, it's I'm looking for this person or I'm looking for a person to do this, and I'm like, dear, I don't want to like do. It's so funny.
Yeah, I feel like that was the funniest one that you've done. That was the funniest one, digging the ditches. You're like, we have a couple interns. Ethan's just shaking his head over there. Poor Ethan.
The roofing one was pretty good at first, like when there was like, we can try.
I also like when you preface that we don't do that, but we can try, because otherwise people will really think that that's what we do. Okay, HEA Radio Roofing, let's go. You know, like, hey, you need a yard cut? Okay.
I think like anything, it'd be great. Maybe we should try it one time. Just like actually like
Just go
and
out
do
there.
it and do it for them.
All right, Ethan, we got you a shovel.
Dirty jobs, KHEA style.
We had to spend $400 on shovels so you can make $50 to go dig this ditch
That would be hilarious.
through like trees and roots.
Think of what it could do for KHEA Radio's financial situations. We wouldn't have to work another day in our lives.
He's kind of speechless. Ethan, you have nothing to say over there?
$100. $100 is gonna keep you from working another day.
You know,
Maybe.
if we made $100 every single day, that's like $365,000. I think I did the math wrong.
The
but
math is not adding up.
$36,500.
Yeah,
If you make $100 a day, you're pretty rich.
$3,600
$36,000
for
is
a year.
above the poverty line, I think.
What's the?
Kurt, what are you talking
The
about?
poverty line's like 33 or something like that. So we're like 3,000 over it.
No, it's not. You're just spouting out stuff
I
you
did.
know nothing about.
$36,000 though is a pretty decent salary, Ethan.
Kurt,
No?
just stop talking.
Okay.
Can you stop talking for 10 seconds?
Okay.
It's 9:45. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. Maybe you're listening on the KHEA Radio app. If you are, hey, we appreciate you. If you're not, and you didn't even know we had an app, just search KHEA Radio in the App Store and the Google Play Store, download it, and then make sure you let us know that you already downloaded it. Let us know what you think about it as well.
There was a bunch of people last night at church who were downloading the KHEA radio app at the Abundant Life Christian Center. So people are downloading the app. You can actually listen to it live. You know, I actually start every morning listening to KHEA radio now because I open up the app.
Ethan actually has the app open right now. He's been jamming this thing nonstop pretty much, and here's a look at it as Ethan is showing. If you're watching on Facebook, then you can see this is what the app looks like. It's pretty user-friendly. If you have any suggestions, we're open to them. Hey, somebody came up to me last night and was like asking me to do some changes, which we appreciate. When it comes to the radio, for the most part, if somebody comes up and is like, hey, here's a suggestion, so we're always open to hearing those.
Can we hear those changes? Because you didn't tell me this.
I can't tell you on the air.
It's that bad?
It's not bad. They could be listening, and hey, just thank you for making some suggestions. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
It's some good stuff. So right now it's 9:46. This is KHEARadio.com. It is Memorial Day. Earlier we took some time and we played a speech and some sound bites and took a look at some of the graphics of this video that was put together, and we just wanted to say thank you to everybody who has served, continue to serve, and especially we just wanted to be thankful and take some time to pay our respects to the people who paid the ultimate sacrifice, and that's what today is all about. It's 9:47. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. Let's take a quick break on our FM. Keep it going on Facebook, and we'll see what happens, but this is KHEA Radio.
Petrified eyes.
Hey, we were out there in KHEA on Friday. Had an awesome show behind the Art of Coffee, right by Petrified Eyes.
I saw
Good
that.
stuff.
Ann tuned in. We talked to Ann about Ann Hammond. She was about education. She talked a little bit about, standardized testing, and it was really kind of cool to hear her thoughts as a former teacher. Obviously,
yeah.
It was great.
Oh, obviously.
But the best part is that I asked, because usually if you're on
she's not a former teacher.
No, if you're on the school board, I always assume it's like a former educator, but you can be on the school board and just care about students and kids.
Yes, she said, hey, I'm a former parent in the ISD. I was a professional retired from NASA, and then decided to help. Hey, I'm involved. I care. I'm on this board, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it better.
I love your dad. He said, my opinion, y'all are doing an awesome job. No changes required.
Thank you.
I agree.
I agree. See, that's the kind of suggestions we like, right?
If you aren't going to say anything positive, we don't want to hear. No, we do. We do care. Obviously, here's the best part about this. And, Gardy and I, we don't have a back. We're not really radio guys, we didn't go to school for this. We didn't work at another radio station before we started doing this.
Whenever I did music and I played in bands, I did radio interviews, and that's the only background that I have in radio, being interviewed on radio, and it was fun. It was fun, just it's a microphone. That's it.
I had a show in college, but that's about it. We actually had a little bit of a radio class. But I was more into TV, so I wasn't paying attention whenever they talked about the radio. I was like, radio.
So you had a show in college, or you had your own show?
Yeah, it was it was only for a semester. It was one hour.
Was it called
once
Kickstart?
a week? No, it wasn't called Kickstart. We talked about movies, and it was me and my buddy Pat White. He was actually my roommate for a while. I don't know if we were roommates
Sounds like someone
at the time.
Ethan would be friends with.
Patrick White would be somebody that Ethan reminds me a lot about Patrick White.
Really?
A lot, actually.
I see that.
But Patrick White is a very successful speech coach right now in the state of Nebraska. But
what happened to you? How come he went on to be a successful speech coach?
Wow.
Because you were a coach for speech, right? Or debate? Oh, no, debate. You did debate.
I did debate. It was a little different. And I wasn't that wasn't what I was hired to do. He actually teaches speech. I never
So he
taught.
must have been really good.
Not in college. But
what?
Don't tell him I said
Can
that.
someone tag Patrick White?
Don't ever.
I'm going to do it.
Tag him. Anyways,
Patrick.
He's a good guy, and we had a show, and we were talking about movies, and I remember one time I ranked my top 5, and I got to number 1, and I said Wall-E. And oh my gosh, there was a 30-minute discussion about how Wall-E could never.
Oh gosh, can we not do this again? Because you've done this to me in real life. You're like, Wall-E's the greatest movie of all time, and you're gonna sit there and argue it over nonsense.
I'm not gonna argue because it'll turn into a 30-minute discussion as to why it was. But anyways, that was what our show was about. And I did this awesome promo that I definitely could never talk about on the air. But it was Barney singing "I Love You."
Good song.
And at the end, the guy goes, "Where Barney plays no more." 90.1 FM KFKX, the X. That's what it was called.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. You don't know where to go from there, do you?
No.
I'm sorry.
KFKX, the X, and then just leave me hanging.
We don't have, it's just KHEA radio.
KHEA, the radio.
The radio.
KHEA radio, the radio. I like it. Yeah, we don't have one. Hey, I saw Justin Gambino, who's one of our friends, and he is on 99.5 FM in Springfield, Missouri, but they were KADI. And I thought that was really cool call letters because it could be like 99.5 FM, Katie, KADI. It's just really neat.
But people would get really confused if we were KD in here because they would spell it KATY because of Katie, over there in Houston.
But you could also say it as KD, so that way it's, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff they could do. Maybe we'll just be in their inbox and give them suggestions because people love getting suggestions in their inbox and DMs. This is what you could be doing better, just tell them.
Yeah,
it'd be fun.
We need a KHEA
suggestion box.
Yes. Or
is it virtual or real?
It's almost one of those things where it's like,
and then we read the suggestions, like the ones I could see Kurt pulling them out and being like, "Oh, not gonna do that." Oh, really? Oh, that sounds fun. Do you like the SpongeBob meme where you're doing this every day?
And then you're reading
Fire Kurt. Oh, you want to do that? Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Or have you seen that meme where the guy is laughing? He's like, ha 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 ha. It's the same thing. It's you start laughing and it's oh, that's funny, and then it hurts deep down inside, and you're sad crying laughing.
Yeah. I'm about to start crying right now.
Don't cry, Gardy.
Okay, I'm okay. Okay.
It's Memorial Day.
So we were also, this past weekend, we went and checked out Bay Area Raceway. They're celebrating 25 years, which I remember going there as a kid, and it's already been here for 25 years. That's really cool, for a business that focuses on family-friendly fun to be going that long. And they had Mario Kart out there, and then they also had some Halo characters. It was really neat. It was pretty fun to see.
We're going to be talking to Bay Area Raceway on June 5th at 9 o'clock. So if you want to hear more about everything that they're doing to celebrate 25 years, 25 years of doing anything. It's a long time. That's older than Ethan.
Yeah,
that's
Ethan's shaking his head in agreement.
I did think of something weird the other day. We got Pastor Josh was talking about how he's worked at Abundant Life Christian Center for 17 years, and his life is halfway or something like that. He came when he was 17, so he spent half his life at Abundant Life Christian Center.
Well, I don't think he's worked here that long. That's when he moved here to start going to school, and then he didn't start working here till a little bit later.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. I'm oh wow, that's kind of cool. Well, I hope one day I can say hey, half my life has been spent doing KHEA radio.
Interesting. I started coming to this church when I was 10 years old, and we moved here from Angleton to Lamarck. I started coming. It was the end of my 5th grade year, and then in 6th grade, my mom put me in the Christian school, and we drove back and forth every morning to get to school. Had to wake up at 5 a.m. and drive 45, 50 minutes to get to school on time, and it was crazy. I remember being like, there has to be a better way. So then whenever I was in 7th grade, we had bought a house down here, and we finally moved. And so that's the same house my parents live in now, here in Lamarck.
You drove back and forth?
Yeah, so we started coming. I'm telling you, yeah. It was towards the end of my 5th grade year in school. We drove Sunday morning. Yeah, it was 45, 50 minutes to get here. We would drive and then hang out all day. We'd go eat and then just kind of sit around and then stay for church that night and then drive home. We would usually stop at the gas station and get hot dogs for dinner. It was 2 for $1, and we would and then on Wednesday we would do the same thing. After school we'd drive 45, 50 minutes up and then drive home. And then my entire 6th grade school year, my mom put us in school, but we still lived in Angleton. So we'd have to wake up at 5 a.m. to drive 45, 50 minutes to be able to get to school, on time. And then 7th grade, we finally moved down here. So we lived 10 minutes away, if that. it was tough as a like 10, 11, 12-year-old.
Dang. I can't even imagine. So here's the crazy part. So in where I grew up, 45, 50 minutes is, enough to get you to Lincoln, Nebraska, from where we're at. Like it's a long, like it feels like a long way. So that's crazy to think about, that I would be living in Lexington and driving and going to school in 45 minutes away. Like that thought. I hated going to Kearney, Nebraska, which was 30 minutes away. And that was like the next major place. That's where we do all of our shopping for like clothes and stuff. Yeah. And I hated it. I can't imagine doing that every day.
Yeah, 45 minutes and there's nothing there. Like it's a blank drive. So it's just, there's never traffic. But to get to like Danbury and Angleton, it's like a clean drive. But looking back on it, that part of my life, I feel like it went by quick, even though it was still like a year, of school and everything else. But, it's funny how time works now as you get older, and looking back at memories, you kind of make compartments of different times. So it's like, this is when I lived in Angleton, and this is whenever I went to school here. And then, it's weird how time works.
It's crazy to me to think about being in Texas too.
Yeah.
Because
how long have you been here now?
4 years.
Went by quick.
It's going by fast. It's like, because I came when I was 26, so it's been 4 years, and it just flies by, and it's crazy to me, and to think that we're in June already. Like June is 4 days away. That's nuts to think about. When in January, it felt like yesterday.
I know.
Crazy.
Is that kind of scary? Is that a scary feeling or like an exciting feeling, or how does that?
No, because I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like 82 and be like, what did I do with my life? Where did it go? Where did the time go?
That's a possibility.
Oh, man, I'm going to be 31 in like 3 months.
Yeah, that's why we should try and make every day count. Every day at KHEA, or just every day in general. Like, if you have a goal, like, what are you doing to work towards it? Do something. You have to do something every day. Even be positive every day.
Play video games wait, what?
You could do that too. You can still find time to juggle it. But are you playing video games more than you are trying to make a difference in the world? I hope not.
No.
Okay, we got 20 seconds and we're going to go back on. We'll listen to some house fires. Ooh, Ethan's over there dancing. Good job, Ethan. It's about to.
If I had a suggestion, I'll talk about it.
Here we go. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It's 9:58 a.m. on Monday, Memorial Day, Monday. Let us know what you have going on today. How are you remembering our fallen soldiers today? Are you hanging out with family? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I'm going to be working on some stuff today. I'm spending the day working, making sure that we're continuing to work towards some goals that we have here at KHEA Radio. We have a Shine On Lamarck video that isn't dropping today. We're dropping it tomorrow. So this will be, because of Memorial Day, we figured, hey, we'll wait for Shine On Lamarck to drop tomorrow. So I'm gonna finish some of that today, and then just enjoy the day after that with myself.
just me and myself.
Me, myself.
So yeah, it's about 10 o'clock. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. Earlier we took a listen and we took a look at some video if you're watching on Facebook. And what do you say we end the show that same way?
I'm okay with that. I just want to say one more time, thank you guys for tuning in today. Please stay by and listen to what I think is a really powerful speech by President Reagan, and talks a little bit about why this country is here. And we just want to say thank you so much to all of our soldiers who are out serving today, who have fought for our country in the past. So thank you so much.
This has been Kickstart. It's 10 o'clock. KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.